Do you know how some games are better left in the past? I feel like that is the case with The Thing Remastered. Now listen, I'm not going to get on its case and be like, this game's actually terrible and it's a bad video game. That's not what I'm trying to say here. I have not replayed this game since the PS2 generation. I can't remember it at all for the most part. There's barely anything I remember about the game. I remember controlling like absolute dog shit back then. So when you play it now and it controls way better, Night Dive done a really good job in tidying the game up. It never had this kind of lighting system. It never looked this good. But the thing is with The Thing, I think age has finally caught up to it, and it's just one of those games where in my head it was really cool, but then I replay it and it's like, oh no. This is not the game that I remember. Like, it was way better in my head. Now, that's not to say that you're going to have the same experience, because at the end of the day, if you've played The Thing and you're still playing The Thing over and over again all these years later, then, you know, this game's probably for you, because this is... I can't see how you wouldn't play this and be like, this is just a massive improvement over the original. It looks better. Clearly better controls. I couldn't tell you exactly what's been changed. I do remember back in the day that a lot of the people changing into The Thing was kind of scripted. I remember like testing people, and then you'd walk around a corner and then they would just kind of change, and it was like, what the fuck? Like, I swear I just tested you and you were clean. Like, what just happened? You haven't touched anything since I walked around the corner. Why have you turned? I swear it used to do that. It doesn't do that anymore. From anything that I experienced, I never tested anyone and then walked around a corner. But it felt like if the monsters touched any of your squad members, they would change immediately. Like, it was like, what the fuck? Like, you got touched once. So I don't know if that's been upped. I don't know if that's what it was like back in the day. Because like I said, I haven't replayed this game, and probably for good reason, because it never massively clicked with me back then. I just didn't remember it. I'm a big fan of the film. I love the film. It's one of my favorite films of all time. Who doesn't love that movie? But I just don't like the direction they take with the game. I think the gameplay is dated. I really like the visual upgrade that this game's got, and I really like the fact that they've preserved what it was. So what I'm saying to you is, if you love The Thing, the movie, you might get some enjoyment out of this. If you're coming into it for a first time playing, maybe it'll click. It definitely gets a bit better in the middle, I'd say. The game, like the start of it's very tutorial heavy. It's telling you what to do, not really letting you play. It's kind of irritating. Then it kind of lets you get off the reins, and you're like, right, now I'm playing it, I'm having fun. But then it kind of stops being about The Thing and more about like some military, like mercenary dudes that are like trying to do experiments with the alien, and it's just kind of like, what? And you're shooting like more military dudes than actual monsters. And it just becomes one of those games where it's like, I thought this was supposed to be quote-unquote survival horror. I've never liked to call this game survival horror. It's just what everyone else calls it. So, you know, I've got a certain definition of that genre, and it definitely is not this. It falls in line with an action horror. It's very in line with like Dead Space 3, if I'm being honest. But that's honestly where I would draw the comparison. It's like, if you want to play this game, but you want to play a better game of it, play Dead Space 3. And some people are going to scoff at that, like, Dead Space 3 sucks. I don't think Dead Space 3 sucks, so I don't agree. But again, you might love The Thing, like the original game. If you love it, I really can't see how you wouldn't enjoy this and love it to bits. But I just think age is catching up to it. I think a lot of people wanted the game to be remade, and personally, I think you should remaster games and remake games. It shouldn't just be like one or the other. Personally, if you're going to do The Thing, I think you should do something completely new with it. It shouldn't be this. It shouldn't be remake this and tell this story, these characters and whatnot. It should be rebuilt from the start and just, you know, change the story, change the characters. Everything should be different. I don't follow the film. I really don't like the fact that you find out what happens to MacReady and Childs. I really don't like that. It irks me a little bit. It's like, why are you telling me that one of them lives and one of them dies or whatnot? You know, just don't do that. Just no. But again, I guess it was trying to be a sequel, and John Carpenter's here as well. You will find John Carpenter at some point. He's still here, a little bit updated character model and whatnot, but yeah, it's still the same game. Nothing's massively been changed from what I can tell, other than like scripted events, better controls, better lighting. The game did have a few buggy moments, so what I would recommend, that if you do play this, I recommend that you make multiple saves, because there was a certain section where I walked in a room and it clearly a cutscene was meant to play, and then you end up in like a gas room and you've got to figure out how to get out and whatnot. It's really simple. But the cutscene clearly didn't play. It flung me in the room and I'm like, wait, what just happened? Because it's like faded to black and then just threw me in this room. And I was like, okay. And I get out the room and then there's fire in an opposite room and the fire's not hurting me. It's like just a visual effect. I'm like, okay, something's wrong here. And then I run back around the corridor. It's telling me to go somewhere and there's like nothing to do. There's no open doors. No one's doing anything. I'm like, all right, the game's bugged here. So I go on YouTube. I look up exactly what I'm meant to do in that area. And it turns out some guys are meant to like run out of a door and open another door and then you can leave. Those guys clearly didn't spawn. So I had to reload a couple of saves back, because I like to oversave when I play games. So I had to reload a couple of saves back to get where I needed to be. But yeah, that was a bit annoying. That was a bit irritating. There was a bit where I went into first person view, came out of first person view, and my character's head was missing, his arms were missing, like it was just like a floating gun and a jacket. It was really weird. I should have got footage of that. I never did, but yeah, that was an odd glitch, but not like game breaking or anything like that. And then the other issue I had with it, in the opening cutscene, not only was the voice acting out of sync when the guys are like the lip sync's completely out of sync, it had like this clicking sound going on with the music, and I never liked that. That was really irritating me. I don't know what that is about. I don't remember that being in the original game or anything like that. Maybe there's a file corrupted or something. Something's wrong with the sound. It was clicking. Played it on Xbox, just in case it's not a thing on the other platform editions. But yeah, overall, I think they're not asking too much money for it. If you love the thing, like the game, I don't see why you wouldn't love this, because it is the same game but with improvements. But if you didn't like it, nothing's changed here. And if you're looking at the game thinking it's dated, it is dated. You might want to stay clear and buy something that you want to play, you know? Because honestly, I didn't really have a great time with this. I really wish I left it in the past, but it's one of those things where once it got announced, I wanted to play it. I was going to play it. It's just now I know not to replay it again, because I don't know, it just didn't click, man. It could be a mood thing. Maybe I could play it again in a year's time, be like, you know what? I was clearly in a bad mood when I played this, because it's actually really good, but where I stand now, it's just, the game's dated. Not really worth playing. It's not really worth your time. It's the best I can put it across. I'm glad it's been remastered, and I hope people who love this game love it, enjoy it, have a good time with it, but I don't know, it just didn't click for me. Anyway, that's all I got. Do you like The Thing? The game, that is. Do you like the movie? Let me know down below. If you're new here, subscribe. But yeah, that's all I got, people. I'll catch you later.